Many people assume that when they become adults, their relationships with their parents will magically become easier.
But as you go through different life stages, it's difficult for both the parent and the adult child to see themselves in a different light.
For tips on how to have an adult relationship with your parents, we spoke to Master Life Coach Dr. Crystal Connor. For starters, set boundaries.
We often think that boundaries are going to be viewed as us being mean or somehow being combative in our relationship.
But
Boundaries are actually the healthiest, most loving thing that you can do in a relationship, because you're clearly stating, this is how I feel, this is how you're making me feel, or this is how I'm interpreting your behavior, and this is what I'm going to do if you continue to do that.
if you don't do this,
You're not establishing who you are now as an adult child. So it causes a lot of feelings of negativity and resentment, which never are good for relationships.
she says what's important when setting these boundaries.
Focus on your behavior and who you are being when you're setting the boundary versus trying to force the other person into a certain type of behavior.
Next, learn to say no.
It is okay to say no. And in fact, you should practice saying no more often when there are things that you truly don't want to do.
That's because
When you're continually saying yes and being a people pleaser, it doesn't feel good, and you start to feel resentful and you feel like you don't own your own time.
But she says if your no's come out of the blue,
The other person may not understand, and the other person's not going to be happy that you're no longer available at the same capacity that you were before.
so try to manage your expectations.
Your no may not go over really well, and plan in advance how you're going to handle their response without giving in.
Finally, practice forgiveness.
Forgiveness does not mean that you are saying that the behavior is okay or the things that they did or said is okay.
She says forgiveness is really for you.
Because as long as you are holding unforgiveness and resentment, it feels horrible. And you're walking around thinking about something that was done or said, and the other person is living their life.
She feels like the key to forgiveness is compassion.
Understanding why they are the way they are. Maybe looking back at your grandparents and seeing how they were raised and why they do the things that they do.
She says don't ignore your feelings, acknowledge them.
And then make a decision for you to move forward with forgiveness.
Tips to see eye to eye with your parents.